Well, hello everyone and welcome. Welcome back to the channel. The latest portfolio update video, where we got to at the end of 2024 on this long-term investing journey that I'm on. We start off to begin with the 5 things we're going to look at. The first is just a refresher of the goal of my investing, and I do recommend the general concepts. All of you who are investing or consider investing, you have a very specific goal, and this is my goal. Very long term, 2020 to 2050, £300 a month. Get to that, hopefully, very nice number. So we're getting into the performance. A few things displayed differently today, some different graphs, etc. So I'd like to hear if you find those interesting. And we'll start off with like the high return on capital type companies in the portfolio, which I want to be the largest point in my portfolio. This is the percentage gain on all of those last time. Just have an animation here to see how they've changed. You can see that Google had a particularly good month that jumped up there, and overall this portfolio is looking very, very strong, particularly some of those larger gains at the top. Go into a little bit more detail then on each of the companies. So Bank OZK, the largest, getting towards £2,500. Actually down quite a bit last month, but good return overall in the period that I've owned it. I will continue to hold that position. And actually in January that has pushed on a bit further. So this is just as a reminder to the end of last year. We'll see sort of the overall portfolio performance get to target later in the video for that time period. Very good month for Google or Alphabet. Over £2,000 in the portfolio now. 71% overall, a good month change of plus 21 points. I will continue to hold, and potentially I could look to increase that position slightly. I want to have another look at them just to make sure I'm not overpaying, but I'd love that to be 5% of the portfolio, whereas at the moment it's a bit like percent of the portfolio. Another excellent month for Williams-Sonoma, pushing past that 200% return in a couple of years actually. So a great find, and this was one that was identified in our Patreon group through one of the members as a great suggestion. Definitely appreciating that one. And Fortinet had a pretty quiet month, but happy with that, holding it to about 3% or so of the portfolio, about 3%. And Dropbox pushed on, so up 39 points. Visa, however, I would like to have as a larger position based on their metrics, based on the company. So up 32% in a reasonably short period of time, but yeah, probably want to look to increase that position when I wouldn't be overpaying. Not much happened on Skyworks, not much happened on Rightmove, about 2% of the portfolio, and then American Express has done very well. Unfortunately, a smaller position with that level of return. Good month for Meta, pushing towards the £1,000 mark. You could say that was a mistake, buying so little of that. Well, I did. That's a mistake. Not a mistake in buying it, but a mistake in the position sizing. Unilever up 127%. Very nice indeed. And Berkshire dropped back a bit during the month, but still 140% in under 5 years. Again, another one that would have been good to have a bigger position size at the time. Adobe pulled back quite a lot within months, at only 13% up now. That's one I want to review actually. I either need to close a position or increase it. It's sort of in that no man's land at the moment. Elevance pulled back a little bit, so it's now just 1% of the portfolio. Not much change there. Good month for Somero, so almost back to level on that one. And not a good month for Invote. Takes me to the dividend type stocks in the portfolio. So I'll buy these only when they are not when they're underpriced really, because just buying them for the dividend wouldn't give me that 10% a year that I needed at the start. So they need to be priced below book value, for example, on the appropriate companies or something of that nature, so that there's capital gain as well as dividend gain. So here is the animation from last time to this time. And really very stable in terms of the market price there. Not much has changed at all. Unum down slightly, just under £4,000, but overall an excellent return in 4.5 years on that Viva, yeah, doing very well. That's a good hold for me. Legal General, well, not too much change in month. Again, Investec, 300%, but pretty static within a month. I will continue to hold that one. Just because I'm holding, by the way, it's not investment and personalised investment advice for anyone listening. Make your own decisions about your personal circumstances. Don't take it as personalised advice, please. This is my general opinion, my opinion. Citigroup, not too much change there. Plus 500, pushing towards 100%. Very close indeed. I'll continue to hold. I'll continue to hold here. And that takes us to managed by others, protection against my failure, essentially. And here is the change over the month. And that's practically nothing. With Fundsmith, the larger position, not much change, and I will whiz through these because there's not really too much change. No brand new positions added. A couple of observations you might have about some of the position sizings not being fully invested in the market. That's certainly something you can think about. So, and that takes us to the sort of cyclicals, not long-term holds, but ones where there is a possibility for a sort of business cycle or commodity cycle gain. So probably the only ones out of these where I would have to think about selling on a regular basis, because that's the point of these. The point of those high return on capital ones, dividend stocks, they're not, and the managed by others, they're not really ones I have to ever think about selling unless something drastically bad happens on some of those individual companies. So here's the change. And yeah, quite a negative movement on AMR, although still very positive overall. And the long-term viewers will know that I've banked a lot of profit on that in the past at much higher rates than this. So down 100%. That sounds pretty bad, doesn't it? Down 100%. But no, still up 400%. Absolutely nothing to worry about. Just some weakness in the coal market. But this company, brilliant, debt-free, money printer. And I'm looking for opportunities to buy more rather than sell at the current market price of the company. Intel moved back quite a bit in month. I'm considering on this one whether it's a good opportunity to buy more. Let's change on Bitcoin. And then, yeah, let's tell about that one better. There's not even any point selling that now. It's so low in value, might as well just hold it, see what happens, because it's selling it will not really change anything, will it? So legacy holdings, before I had the strategy, I've been chipping away at these over time, and particularly actually selling some of Alibaba, phasing that one out, so I'll continue to do that. Not much change in month there. This was a much larger holding previously, and I've managed to get rid of quite a lot of it and will complete that activity this year. That's Corsair, December, not much change, and then the laggards at the end. So that's the performance of each of our holdings, full transparency, even the bad ones, particularly there at the end that you've seen. I do show those. So what's happening? What is happening in the portfolio? So it was about 60 at the end of November, and then end of December, pretty much the same, really. 64, as in 60,400, not 64. So yeah, 2024, the end of your target of last year was 54,000, so very comfortably ahead of that, although yeah, that's a 10% drop. I'm back to that number, so if there's a market correction, I could easily drop back down to that number, so nothing's certain, but to be that far ahead, over 10% ahead already, is very pleasing. So if I can keep ahead of it, it really does reduce that run rate required in later years. Now, of the change, you can see there's a deposit, and it says plus minus, so that is a type, that's a minus on the performance, so minus £241. You can blame my fat fingers for that one. Pretty much nothing changed in the last month, and therefore, what do I need to do? So all purchases are done with this in mind. This is how I work out if I'm going to buy something or not. So the last part of it, the valuation, but 9.45% a year, that's what I need if I stick to £300 a month in order to hit the long-term goal. So anything I buy needs to be projected to return above that with a margin of safety ideally as well, so it's got a chance to go even further, chance of I've miscalculated. So again, as a general concept, I'd suggest anyone with a portfolio does this calculation. So therefore, we get to the sort of final part of the presentation around the transactions, and then I'll show you the portfolio split. No buys. In the run-up to Christmas, I got so excited, I actually forgot to buy my usual monthly Fund Smith and Wild Index. So if anyone wants to slap me on the wrist in the comments below, feel free. I did, however, sell all of my Ethereum holding. Just over 4 years on that one, 19% a year average return for those 4 years. We're talking in the low hundreds here, a couple £100. So it was only about like 0.5% of the portfolio. And I thought, as it's a cyclical, I do need to sell it at some point. I thought I'd take the money at that point. So here is, for the portfolio, the change in value in each of the sections, pounds. Not too much has changed here, but just gives you an idea. Now looking at it this way is quite interesting because you see how big that cash position is. It's too big. And because it's so big, if the market goes up a lot, which is certainly possible, then I lose out on those gains by not being fully invested. Equally, if the opposite happens, then I've got the ability to take advantage. But sitting on cash waiting for a crash isn't what I'm trying to do. I've just not found the things to put it into. So I think I'm going to start really aggressively chipping that down now into, let's say, World Index, for example, because it's really too much cash to hold. As a reminder, the channel does have a Patreon account, and a shout out to all those supporters. We also have a Discord server which you get access to as part of becoming a Patreon supporter. If you'd like to consider that, you're very welcome. Thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.